Yes, wonderful. We're just about to light the divas, so if you can just be quiet for about a minute or two, if that's okay. Thank you very much.
Om Hari Om Uddipya Swajata Vedopaghnannaratam Mama Pasugishcha Maihamaha Jivanancha Disho Dishaha Om Atma Namaraning Kritva Pranavam Chottaranim Kuru Ghantarvam Tatra Devatahvana Lanchanam Om Nakarmana Na Prajayadhane Natyage Naike Amrutatvamanashu Pare nanakam nihitam guhayam vibhrajade tadyatayo vishanti Vedanta vijnana sunischitartha sannyasa yoga yataya shuddha sattvaha te brahma lokeshu paramtakale paramrutat parimuchanti sarve Daharam vipapam parameshma bhutam yat pundarikam puramajya saggastham Tatrapi daharam gaganam vishokastasmin yadantastadupashitavyam Yo vedadau swara prokto vedante cha pratisthitaha tasya prakritilinasya yah parassa maheshwaraha. Jai Bharat Mata ki.
The mic?
That's the mic.
Yeah, you can. Yeah. Up. Devam Kamsachanuramardhanam Devaki Paramanandam Krishnam Vande Jagadgurum Atasi Pushpa Sankasam Harasupura Shobhitam Ratna Kankana Keyuram Krishnam Vande Jagadgurum Mandara Gandha Samyuktam Charuhasam Chaturbhujam Bhavipinchava Chudangam Krishnam Vande Jagadgurum Utpulla Padmarpatraksham Neelajeemutasannibham Yadavanam Siroratnam Krishnam Vande Jagadgurum Rukmini Keli Samyuktam Pitambara Susobhitam Avarta Tulasi Gandham Krishnam Vande Jagadgurum Gopikana Kuchadvandam Kunkumakita Vakshasam Sriniketam Maheshwasam Krishnam Vande Jagadgurum Srivatsakam Mahorastam Vanamala Virajitam Shankachakradharam Devam Krishnam Vande Jagadgurum Krishnashtakamidam Punyam Prataruddhaya Pathe Koti Janmakritam Papam Smaranena Vinashyati Go
I hope every one of you have had some refreshments, starters, and I hope that the first session of the evening meal, the starters, are quite delicious. And please make sure that if you want some more, there's plenty to go around. May I once again welcome every one of you here, those friends, brothers and sisters who were with us in the early part of the conference, and those who have arrived after 5 o'clock. A very warm welcome to you all to this conference arranged and organized by National Council of Hindu Temples, Dharma Rising. As you will be very well aware that this is the third day of this conference, and I must once again reiterate that the last 2 days have been absolutely fantastic and a beautiful journey to the history of India and also the future of India and future of all the Hindus living in India and abroad as well. Once again, let us pay our sincere thanks and appreciation to our chief guest who has flown all the way from India, Dr. Subramaniam Swami. Let us give him wonderful welcome, a warm welcome. And along with him, we've had a wonderful discourse with Dr. Gautam Sen, who's sitting right next to me. On my right, further up, we have Dr. Elst, who also has been with us yesterday and today. We are today just now joined by other members of National Council of Hindu Temples. Our Vice President, Arun Bhai Thakur, is here. Sudarshan Bhattiaji is here. Our Assistant Secretary, Gulzari Barber, is here as well. And other members who have just joined on behalf of National Council of Hindu Temples. Thank you for accepting our invitation. And I will now request our General Secretary, Shri Satish Bhai Sharma, to carry on with the next part of the event, which is a small dialogue or discourse on Dharma Rakshak, and he's going to give you more information about that, and there will be some presentation to 5 individual people, and followed by dinner as well. Thank you, and enjoy the rest of the evening. Dhanyavad.
Thank you, Rashmikanti. I'm the chair of the British Board of Hindu Scholars, an initiative that the NCHT started only last year and which is evolving and growing at a wonderful... Good evening, everybody. Can everyone hear me? Thank you. We started an initiative called the British Board of Hindu Scholars last year, and it's evolving, and over the last 9 months we've had the blessings of many very wise scholars. And today I think we have hit a bit of a pinnacle to have Dr. Subramaniam Swami with us here. One aspect of scholarship which we're very aware is critical and often lacking is courage. Scholars are always the pioneers at the front end of any dialogue, and when scholars are repressed or attacked, more often than not, the failure of the presence of scholarship leads to war and conflict. So scholars, I think, in this time need to be more courageous than ever before. We've heard so many things about Dr. Subramaniam Swami today, but there are 1 or 2 stories which I think people haven't heard, and I'm going to share one of them which demonstrates what courageous scholarship is about. In the times of the emergency, many of you may know, but Dr. Swami had an arrest warrant issued against him for purely political reasons and had to flee the country. In order to retain his position in the parliament, he sneaked back from overseas into India, flew into India, managed to get into the parliament in the last few moments of a parliamentary session whilst a speech was being made. And in that speech, a list of persons who had sacrificed their lives, had passed away, was being read. And at the end of it, in the last dying moments of that session, Dr. Swami appeared in Parliament, sat in his seat, stood up and addressed the Speaker and said, "Freedom of speech has also died and should be added to that list." Okay? Having said that, he promptly stood up, left Parliament, somehow managed to get out, and then also left the country without anybody detecting him and detaining him. Now that is a courageous commitment to what needs to be said. Today we're going to recognize a small number of other people who have a similar sense of courage. Now we all come from paths, lineages, religious traditions, nationalities, and so on. But often it's very difficult to challenge our own communities for the greater good. That, I think, is the greatest sign. When a person is willing to turn against everything they know and review it from a position of human rights and start to make a correction, that takes an immense amount of courage. And Dharma is that common space of human rights, but animal rights and all rights, which these people strive to protect at their own personal risk and expense often. So today we're going to look at not just people who are celebrating their own religions and their own faiths, but are protecting that middle ground, which is dear to all of us. One such individual I know, and he and I have, I met him not too long ago. We've been working together on a number of leading edge initiatives, and the feedback we're getting is that we're both troublemakers now, so it must be working. And I'd like to introduce you to this gentleman in a moment. He is a scholar. He is a medical practitioner, he is an imam, and from what I understand, he is also an extraordinary Irish fiddle player. So as a combination, that is just a dynamite combination. It gives me the greatest of pleasure to introduce you to Dr. Muhammad Al-Husseini, who is with us this evening, and he is the first recipient of our Dharma Rakshak award. Madhuji, could I ask Dr. Swami to just present to recognize Muhammad's contribution.
Thank you. Congratulations.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Beti? Beti? Well, thank you very much.
I apologize for the attire. I've just been doing gardening for my mum, actually. But I know certainly in the Hindu Dharma, there's a clear notion of Ma being above everything else, and of Sewa, of service to one's parents, as being above everyone else. And as one of my favorite, and as one of the greatest poets of all time, Rabindranath Tagore, said, he spoke of his homeland of India as mother, and I think that sets a beautiful precedent for all of us. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you. Dharma is something which is universal. It's a little bit like gravity. It's the rules, the sense of order which holds all of creation together. But often it's difficult to see through our own traditions. I think the people who have investigated their own traditions and then courageously ventured out to explore other traditions to find this Dharma space are rare and few and far between. Those who started this journey 25, 30 years ago and from non-dharmic traditions, I think their journey is to be applauded even more. They've been criticized often by their own communities, and also occasionally received with irony, sarcasm by dharmic communities. And the gentleman I'm going to introduce you today, you've heard him speak, you've heard him present, and we've all been in awe of some of the things that he has shared with us. Dr. Konrad Elst. Would you like to say a few words?
Well, they asked me to say a few words. By now, I think I've pretty much said everything, except that I don't know if you've been there recently, but I really like the way India is developing now. And so in spite of certain minor criticisms, I am essentially very enthusiastic about this government, and I hope to contribute to the development India is making. Thank you.
Thank you very much. So we had our Dharma Rakshak, protector of Dharma, from the interfaith arena. We have now had a gentleman who's been protecting Dharma in the academic arena. I'm going to turn briefly to a gentleman who has been protecting it in the political arena, who was hoping to be here, but I understand that the tubes are all closed in London and there is mayhem everywhere, and he hasn't been able to arrive yet. So we're going to present this in absentia. Maintenance works. There have been quite a few people delayed today. Last year, we encountered an individual who has, for some time, been fighting the corner of the Hindu community in this country. And in the time that we've gotten to know him, it's become apparent that not only is he fighting it from the point of view of human rights, but also that he has developed a sensitivity and an understanding of what the concept of Dharma is. We saw this come to the fore in the Kashmir debate, which, when it started off, we were all horrified that this was going to be occurring. But by the time it had concluded, I think we had all been transported to the state where we thought, what a wonderful development, and we felt almost grateful to the people who initiated it. Part of that was due to the actions of this individual, his participation, his research, and then how he contributed. And so, although he's not with us today, I'd like to honour Bob Blackman, Member of Parliament for this area, and we will present it to him in person and get one of those embarrassing sort of selfies with him and post it on the website and share it with all of you. So thank you very much to Bob for his efforts. Some 24 years ago, a group of young Hindu activists and students got together, and they wanted to protest against some of the human rights abuses that were occurring at that time, very specifically amongst Hindu communities. There was the grooming of our girls at that time, which wasn't really acknowledged by the establishment, and they were at the forefront of protecting and trying to recover and support and guide those youngsters when they were... Sorry, I thought it was Bob for a moment. And when they actually came back into public life. These gentlemen have been doing their work very, very quietly, and at every opportunity that I have always tried to seize to bring them into the public light, they disappear. And today, I thought I'd have them, but I hadn't told them that they were going to be presented with this award. They were upstairs producing a small video clip with Dr. Swami, and lo and behold, when I looked for them, they had gone. So this is to the Hindu Human Rights Group. It's a team of 5 youngsters whose website, hinduhumanrights.info, carries the most well-researched, historically accurate, cutting-edge and fearless publications and articles. So I'd like for all of us to recognize their work, and I will do my best to catch them on camera sometime and embarrass them publicly so we can all enjoy it. But hinduhumanrights.info and the team there are the recipients of our Dharma Rakshak Award as well. They run away always. We have one final person who I'd like to recognize, and this is in the arena of media. We were looking for somebody who is equally fearless and unbiased and impartial enough to subject not only his own community, but many of his closest friends to the scrutiny which is required by a person representing a community. And this gentleman has been doing this for some time, but about a year and a half ago, once the caste legislation debacle started, he really moved the whole issue into a different gear. He was the first to start asking questions about where the consultations had supposedly occurred, which organizations were involved, which organizations perhaps weren't quite as active as they could have been and could have prevented it at the time. And his exploration continued fearlessly right the way through to naming and shaming. And I really do hope that it continues in the same vein, even though his friends number almost as less as his hair number this time. So I'd like to introduce to you Kapil Dudakirji, who we saw earlier on in blistering form as the recipient of the media-related Dharma Rakshak Award. So Kapilji, thank you very much for your efforts. Please. Keep it short this time.
I was told that I should sing a song or two, but I said maybe not. Normally at events like this, the first thing you got to do is to obviously thank my parents for actually having me in the first place. Otherwise, all of you would have been saved this occasion, as it were. I don't get awards. And there's a good reason why. Because I annoy so many people that, in fact, on every single committee out there, the vast majority of people I've actually named and shamed because of their duplicitous nature. So this actually comes as a bit of a shock, but to say that I receive it gratefully, I will carry on and persevere with exactly what I've been doing. And if that means that every now and then one takes a knock, I shall remember what Dr. Swami does in India, which is 10,000 times more difficult than anything I will ever do. So thank you very much.
Yesterday we were all celebrating Hanuman Jayanti, and if Hanuman Jayanti means anything, it means the birth of the courage of Hanuman with an aspect of seva. And I'm just absolutely in awe of how so many things, which were all disconnected, seem to have come together to create what has been a truly momentous and a wonderful, wonderful occasion. I've certainly enjoyed being part of putting it together. A year ago, I stumbled into Dr. Swami's lounge, in fact, the day the results were being announced. I phoned up and in true Punjabi fashion arrived unannounced, and he said, yes, come on in and sit down, and was very, very hospitable to us. From that moment and that conversation, a dialogue took place, and it's culminated in the event that we had today. So in recognition of the idea of a Dharma Rakshak, one who is protecting Dharma, I think we couldn't have been blessed to have in our company somebody other than Dr. Swami, who is probably the incarnate Dharma Rakshak in our time. So I'd like to once more thank Dr. Swami for traveling. It was mentioned that at this very moment in India, the government's national executive is having a meeting. And if you watch the NDTV programs or any of the India coverage, you will see how enormous that event is. It's like an American convention going on with all of the political masters and leaders there, all of the aspirants there. It's a phenomenal event. And Dr. Swami, only a week before he was coming here, was pretty much instructed by the powers that be to be there, and he refused, saying, no, I need to be in England, I have a commitment, and the work that's going on there needs to be supported. So we are very, very grateful that he would choose us over the BJP. So thank you very much, and Dr. Swami, thank you very much for being here. Madhuji, would you like to? Oh, okay. Thank you very much. Madhuji and I, we make a great team. I have the nightmares and the dreams, and he converts them into the reality. It's extraordinary. And he has just asked me to complete one other duty. Thank you.
Please, Gautam.
And in recognition of our Dharma Rakshak, would you like to say any concluding words?
Well, okay. Well, I must say, when I wrote to the party president that I would not be present at the national executive, I think he heaved a sigh of relief. Any case, it was the programs that I have been through here, starting with the Gurdwara meeting where the Hindus and Sikh representatives met to today. I had not, it is beyond my expectation. And so the organizers are the ones who should be getting the awards, not we. I think, let me say one thing, that the country and Hindu religion does not need the lumpen or the masses, because it is there. But to bring about a qualitative change, in the thinking of other people. We need educated people like you, who are well informed, who have absorbed the ideas and are able to argue on the same verbal vocabulary as our opponents and defeat them. And you will know that you have reached that stage when they stop inviting you to programs. So I think we have a emerging Hindu revolution, and it was predicted by many sages long ago that it will start from 2014 and complete by 2025. And I think this is what we were once upon a time. We were the spiritual gurus of the world. We showed people how to do many things, including science, mathematics, and so on. And our influence had spread all over the world. And we have to recover that position. And now I think we are poised for it. And we are all part of a great history that is to unfold. Thank you very much.
In the same way that Motherji makes sure that I'm organized and makes sure that the things that need to be said and done are said and done, I've been absolutely in awe of how Dr. Swami's hectic schedule and also diary is managed by Jagdishji, who has helped put the organization and the function together. Thank you very much, Darshanji. And finally, we were hoping to have Rajiv Malhotraji's message resonate and reach a lot of people. We were hoping to have what Dr. Swami said resonate and reach a lot of people. But today, I must note that everybody who came was already on the journey. They've already done a little bit of homework. They've already had that sense that there is actually something more which needs to be done and are on the journey exploring. So most of all, I'd like to thank all of you for taking part, for taking the trouble to share your Easter weekends with us. And I hope that your journey with us continues. And we look forward to seeing you at the next conference organized by the NCHT, the British Board of Hindu Scholars, and hopefully Dharma will be rising even more next year. So thank you very, very much. Madhuri? Or just Devji? Yeah?
Just that Bob is actually not in the country, that's why he couldn't make it.
Ah, okay. सरपंच नहीं आया मैं उन्होंने जानता नहीं ਤੁਸੀਂ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਵੈਲਕਮ ਕਰ ਸਕਦੇ ਹੋ ਜਸਦੇਵ ਜੀ ਨਾਲ ਨਾ ਥੈਂਕ ਯੂ ਓਕੇ Before you all jump into dinner, we are blessed with one other wonderful event. We are joined by some of our friends from the Gurdwaras in Southall. And let me share another little piece of history happened the other day. As many of you know, in 1984, there was a terrible episode in the history of India. And since that time, I've come to learn that no member of the Indian government, senior ministerial level, has been invited to any of the Sikh temples outside and certainly in this country. And on 2 days ago, we had a wonderful gathering where the Sikh community got together and invited Dr. Swami to attend. And together we've launched an initiative in which the Hindu community and the Sikh community will be working for the betterment of all of our activity. I must apologize. There is a third community who are immensely key in terms of their mastery and their protection of some of the spiritual practices which go with the Indian tradition, so much so that they are shy, retiring, and they are always in the background. And I am guilty of not noticing and acknowledging them often enough. Our friends from the Jain community, who were also present in that meeting, and they too are on board with this initiative. So just Devi, thank you very much for being part of this, and if you'd like to say a few words, or if Harjiti would like to say a few words, more than welcome.
Thank you. Dr. Subramaniam Swami esteemed guests, and ladies and gentlemen, it's a great pleasure to be here. We had quite candid conversations with Dr. Swami on Friday, and as you know, the Sikhs never hold back when there is a discussion going on. They don't always observe diplomatic etiquettes. So Friday, Dr. Swami and the Sikhs had a very front-to-front, face-to-face discussion in the public, and many of the issues that have divided the communities, it seems, can be bridged over. And we are very encouraged that Dr. Swami will take these issues back to the Indian state and hopefully begin a process of reconciliation. And what Satish Sharma has said is true, that not even Dr. Manmohan Singh was able to step into any Sikh Gurdwara out in the West when he was Prime Minister. Dr. Swami, you are the first Indian leader to have been invited. Even the leaders of the Punjab government have never been able to step in a Gurdwara in the West. And I hope this first step will go a long way. And the other thing is that we have our issues in this country, in Canada, in America, which are domestic issues between which our communities have to handle together. Our divisions have been exploited, especially in the caste legislation. They have, as I saw, they spearheaded a sect of the Sikhs to attack the Sikhs, but the target is not the Sikhs, the target is Hinduism, and the target is the 1950 legislation. And we have worked, Satish, Mukesh, Bharti Ben, and many others, and Dr. Sen have worked very hard. And I think from Friday onwards, the two communities are going to work together and give a very clear message to this country. And this is the message I gave to the MPs at that time, that we are no longer in the colony now. You have to stop playing these colonial games with us. During colonialism, you decided who we were. You decided how we were going to act. You decided who should represent us. We are now in this country, we are equal citizens, and without consulting us, without talking to us, without understanding us, you have no right to pass legislation, because this is the only legislation in this country, and this is the truth. This is the only legislation in this country, social legislation, which has come, and the government has said, both parties have said, we'll do the research and we'll do the consultation to see whether it's necessary that legislation must be in place. How can you legislate something that you don't know whether it's necessary? How do you legislate something you don't know what it's about? And none of the MPs, none of the lords have been able to define what caste is, and they have responded. We've got letters from them. Yes, we don't understand what it is. You might as well legislate on fairies. And when I asked the question to MPs, you are legislating about, this is the words of one of the MPs, even if there is one potential case of caste discrimination, we must have the legislation in place. This is in the land of mythology, Alice in Wonderland, that if there is a potential case, and I reminded the MP, there are millions of cases of working class people in this country, white English working class people who are discriminated day in, day out. In front of me, I work as a doctor in a hospital. I've seen many working class people whose careers cannot advance because their accent is not right, because their habits are not right, because their background isn't right. When you, Labour Party, are going to legislate to stop discrimination against your own people, I am a better protected species in this country than your white working class people. They have no answer to that. Why are they concerned about a minor problem, if there is one, in a community when they are not even willing to help their own community? There is a much more insidious reason, and I think everybody has heard that and listened to that. And I hope we can work together now. And Dr. Swami, thank you very much for coming here and
Thank you. Good work. Thank you. Thank you. Hanji, please be comfortable. Thank you. Would you like to? I think Mohammed wanted to share something about his gardening with us. He's been moved to make a contribution. So, Mohammed.
Thank you very much, Satish. It's an honor to have this award, and I just wanted to add a few comments to the excellent words that we've just heard. Satish has been an absolutely brilliant brother and friend to me at times when I've had very few brothers and friends to stand by me, and I just want to, I'm sure you will all join in giving him the credit and the respect that he is due as a person who has without fear taken a stand, sometimes against some of the hierarchy of his own community, as well as standing up to the might and the power of the Church of England and the UK establishment in defending the rights of all of us as equal citizens. I very much echo the comments that were made previously about this kind of colonialist way of dealing with particular minorities in a way that's extremely damaging. And I just wanted to add a little bit from the Muslim experience, because part of the problem that we have in this country is that there are vested interests that are supporting right-wing, fascist, Islamist organizations to speak on behalf of me and on behalf of ordinary people of a Muslim background and Muslim belief who just simply want to work as doctors and lawyers and businessmen and families and neighbors alongside you, and do not recognize the kind of Muslim in a box way of dealing with us, appointing organizations like the Muslim Council of Britain to speak for us, which don't speak for us, that represent sort of 4 to 6% of our community, but also have links to right-wing, violent Islamist, Jamaati Islami organizations that cause communal violence against Hindu and Christian and Buddhist minorities in Pakistan and Bangladesh. And that's why it's really important what's happening here, where we're building alliances with those voices that put human rights, including the human rights of Hindu and other minorities in South Asia, as a responsibility of all of us here in the UK. And I think it's really, really wonderful that we have everybody standing together around this. I think organizations that have been set up for us and taxpayer funded, like the Interfaith Network, taxpayer funded, have appointed for us leaders in the Muslim community that do not speak for us and are actually extremely damaging to our wish to act as citizens alongside all of you as brothers and sisters in the one commitment to truth and reconciliation. Thank you. Thank you.
Being immensely scholarly and really wise, I know when it's time to be quiet. Thank you very much for your support and for your contribution and your best wishes. And I look forward to everybody continuing having a great evening. Dinner is ready. So please, if we can go from one row and just take our time. We have plenty of time, plenty of food, and have a great meal. And do mix and network and talk to each other. And we will hopefully see you on the other side. Thank you very much.
second.